Now, I've had a lot of people come to me and they've come after they've already been rejected from their dream schools. And a very common reason is that I read through their essay and their essay reads just like a resume 2.0. It's not really a story, it's just them being what I call an accomplishment robot. I did this and then I did this and then next I did this. And they're not actually giving me insight into who they are, what their career goals are, and why. Why is the Harvard Kennedy School the right school for them now? None of that is there. What else makes for a great essay? Now, you told us referring to what they know about the Kennedy School, it being customized to the school. What else makes for a really great admissions essay?
You use the word story. I think people need to have a story and it needs to hang together. It's really hard to, I wish that I could say, oh, well, we once had this application and the person said this, that, and the other thing, because that doesn't come to my mind. But it has to hang together. It has to show us who you are. The Kennedy School is looking to train the leaders of the future. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to have been started an organization or been at a very high level in another organization. We are looking for leadership potential. So I say we, they. I should start saying they, but it's been we. It was we for so long. They're looking for leadership potential. They're looking for people who are going to make a difference. They're looking for people who can communicate well. If you can't communicate well in your essays, how are you going to go out there and communicate well in the world and make this world a better place? And it sounds so trite. There is no lack of challenges out there in the world. So tell us not you're going to make the world better. Tell us how you're going to make the world better. Tell us how you've come to this decision about what you want to do, and then tell us why you need to do it at the Kennedy School. It's important, as I think I mentioned, to say what you can bring to the Kennedy School. And believe me, there is something that every single person out there has to contribute. And the classroom is the place where you will not only contribute, but learn from each other. That's the best thing about the whole school. Again, I'm getting a little bit off the subject, but in your essay, show, don't tell. Every writer should know that. Show us how you're going to succeed at the Kennedy School and why.
That was beautiful, and I want to elaborate upon the idea of show, don't tell. There is a framework for showing versus telling that I actually got from MIT Sloan's MBA essay prompt that they used to have years ago. And I think the reason why MIT had to be so explicit with this advice that I'm about to share is that they get so many engineers who are not used to, telling stories. They're used to, there is a clear answer to a problem, to where they had to be like, guys, women, this is what we need. So here's what they said in their prompt. They put the prompt, it was sort of a tell us a story about a time when, but then below that they said, tell us what you thought, felt, said, and did. And I was like, this is genius. And I call that, and MIT would never call it this, but I call it the juicy story framework. Tell us what you thought, felt, said, and did. That's what makes any story, whether I'm telling a story to my sister or a client is writing an admissions essay, that's what makes a story juicy is thought. So inner dialogue, how are you making your decisions? How did you decide to take one path versus another? How did you feel? And a lot of clients have trouble with the notion of feelings and writing about feelings in essays. So they still will try and make a thought a feeling. But by a feeling, I was anxious when I realized we had only 2 weeks and a quarter of our budget to achieve the desired outcome.
Sure.
And then also, what did you say? Dialogue really brings a story alive. So, my mom said, there's no way, you're going off to school in China. And then what actions did you take and why? So that's kind of the show, don't tell, because people hear that and they're like, I don't know what to do with that. Yeah.
The only thing that I would add, that's beautiful, but the only thing that I would add was that, and what did you learn?
And what did you learn? That is exactly right. That's a very important part and that's the what did you learn is kind of like the nice wrap up to the story. That's another thing I notice clients will write a story, but then they don't tell me how things turned out. So were you successful?
And how is that going to impact what you do? And it could be now I know what I don't want to do. That experience showed me where my future lies. And guess what? It's the Sloan School or the Kennedy School or whatever.
Mm-hmm.